Hey everyone, in today's video I wanted to talk about why it's good to flip different Balisongs. And while I'm not saying that you need to have a really big collection, I think that it's good to have a few different Balisongs at your disposal and to flip between them from time to time. Now I especially think that it's good to have one or two Balisongs that are different from your EDC Balisong, basically your everyday flipper, that flip completely differently than what you're used to. And the reason I think that it's good to do this is because let's take something like the Nautilus. This is what I use every day. It's a very high quality, very well made, and it can handle anything I throw at it. In fact, I actually flip the best on this compared to everything else I own. And the reason I think it's good to flip different things from time to time is that certain Balisongs will make certain tricks easier or harder for you. And if you only flip one Balisong 24/7, you're basically going to get very used to how that Balisong flips. But then you pick up a different Balisong at, say, Blade Show, or just try one of your friends, and all of a sudden you can't flip on it and you can't do the same tricks that you're used to doing, because they all flip differently and they all respond differently to different moves. But if you do what I would recommend, which is have a couple Balisongs, switch between them every now and then, you know, even if it's just for a little bit each day, it's good because it will allow you to develop the skills to do the tricks that you know on any Balisong, regardless of price, how it flips. You truly will have those tricks mastered. And that's generally, I think, a good thing, especially if you're flipping on a Balisong that you don't like because it doesn't match your flipping style. If you're able to do all of the same tricks you normally do on a Balisong that doesn't feel good and it goes against your flipping style, then I think that is a true sign of mastering that trick. Because some Balisongs, as I said, will make some tricks easier or harder. The Volp's a good example where chaplains don't work very well on it. But if you can still do your regular chaplain and a vertical chaplain on it, then you've got those tricks down. Another example would be my cheap Amazon trainer that I first started on, right here, which doesn't flip well. It certainly doesn't do fans well, but of course I can still fan on it. And I can still do much harder tricks like Z chokers. And that's because I've truly mastered these tricks. I do them all the time, and I know that I can do them on basically any Balisong. And I think that's important as a flipper, is to be able to do the tricks that you know on any Balisong. I think that's a true sign of mastery. Of course, I don't necessarily think that if you only own one Balisong, you need to rush out and buy a ton more stuff. Certainly only buy things that you want or that you think would be good to have in your collection. But I personally believe along the same line that I believe Camaro EE does, which is, why would you have two Balisongs in your collection that do the same thing? Essentially, why would you have two Balisongs in your collection that are going to give you the same exact experience flipping? It just doesn't make sense. It's like a waste of money, because you're paying for two things that do the same thing, right? Like, if you're going on a camping trip, let's say, why would you bring two forks when one fork will get the job done? And instead of bringing two forks, you can bring a fork and a spoon. Bringing a fork and a spoon just makes more sense because they're each able to do their own thing and do it well, versus having two forks that can do one thing and they both do it well. But what happens if you have two forks and you come and you try to make soup? Well, you're not going to have a good time. And that's why you need to diversify your collections and have things that are different. A great example of this in mine is a Balisong that I have a lot of experience with the Squiddy C. It is completely different from everything else in my collection. It's my only plastic balisong, it's my lightest balisong, and I don't think that it works with my flipping style. But I do still flip it from time to time. It's a nice break on your hands because it's so light, and it just provides a different experience than what I'm used to. And that's good to me because it acts like a sort of palate cleanser to show you that, oh, you know, maybe what's in my collection isn't every balisong, that there is stuff that will behave completely differently. And especially I think it's good because it helps me to really practice tricks and to master them. Because I will tell you that there are some tricks on the Squiddy C that are much harder when done on it compared to some of my metal balisongs. Particularly, Z chokers are way harder because it just doesn't respond the same way. But to still be able to do that trick means that I've done a really good job learning it and teaching my hands the basic principles of how to control the balisong to do that trick. And I can't do it 100% of the time on this, but it still shows that I've put in the effort to learn the trick, not just to learn it on one balisong. That's generally why I think it's important to have a semi-diverse collection and to flip your diverse collection on a regular basis. It just makes you a better flipper when you're able to adapt your flipping to match the balisong. Almost like how in, say, Harry Potter, where the wand basically controls how you use it, where you can't force it to do something it won't want to do. Balisongs are a similar way. You can't force a balisong to flip how you want it to flip. You have to adjust your flipping to how the balisong wants to flip. And I think that's something you can only learn if you flip a lot of balisongs and you realize that they don't all flip the same and that you have to adjust how you flip to match each individual balisong. So that's why I generally think it's a good idea to flip multiple balisongs and to flip them often, especially ones that don't work with your flipping style or just are completely different. Like some balisongs you'll find just might be more fun because they're different, and some you might hate because they're different. But if you're able to flip on them and do just as well as you would normally, then I think that shows the true signs of a good flipper, as someone that can just adapt and overcome the challenges that each balisong possesses. That's all I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Hope you all have a great day, and hope that you all keep flipping.